Good morning, everyone. What a wonderful day today is. We just have a few updates, and we have a guest speaker today, Bill Nugent. We have a new order that kind of came out on us by secret, looks like, PMO SJC 5. It came out on the 17th, Friday, regarding essentially controlling people with notifiable diseases and conditions. This order addresses Title 22, Section 811 cases, which have been rare, but now are coming to the forefront. These type of cases, it appears, affect FM cases, PC cases, criminal cases, guardianship and conservatorship cases. So we're going to have hopefully our very own MSBA District Governor Attorney Burbank address this order in tomorrow's session. And we also have a guest speaker tomorrow too that you can see on the slide that Angela will talk about. With that, I'd like to introduce Bill Nugent again, who's doing his third appearance here, which is very exciting. And Bill, just so you know, I only can see the top of your head right now. I don't know if
this better?
Yes. Oh yeah, that's good. And that you're going to talk to us a little bit about mindfulness. Is that right?
I am.
All right.
Am. Much as I can get in about 5 minutes.
And I heard you might have even started a group.
Yes.
All right. Well, please tell us all about it.
Well, we hear a lot of talk about mindfulness, but sometimes we don't get much of a definition for it. And I think most simply put, mindfulness involves the ability to bring our minds to focus on the present moment without judgment. And it's important to know what mindfulness is not. It is not clearing our minds of all thoughts. That, in fact, is a neurological impossibility for humans, except maybe if they're in a coma. But thoughts are obviously generated by our brain, and our brain is always operating. Even when we're sleeping, we have thoughts. And thoughts often involve either anticipating the future or recalling things in the past and not necessarily focusing on the present. Thoughts often come with judgments or evoke emotions, good, bad, sad. And our thoughts have a profound impact on who we are as people. So when I'm talking about thoughts, if you're thinking about things of the past and have a judgment to it, people have the experience of having voices in their heads. Things such as, I can't believe I didn't follow that line of questioning in the deposition. I'm really stupid. Or, I can't believe I didn't foresee that possibility in drafting the contract. I can't believe I was so incompetent. So there are thoughts and values that often come into play multiple times during the course of the day. And our thoughts really, because of the emotions that they evoke, really have a profound impact on who we are as people. And a lot of mental illnesses, in fact, involve disorders of thought, schizophrenia being probably the most obvious. But mindfulness has really come into the public consciousness over the past few decades, but actually 40 years ago, a professor at the University of Massachusetts Medical School by the name of John Kabat-Zinn developed a system called mindfulness-based stress reduction. And it's a training program. It's still available. It's still taught. It's now available online. If you look up mindfulness-based stress reduction, you can actually take a several-week course online for that. But he was very interested in what mindfulness would do from a very practical point of view, both psychologically and physically. And since its inception back around 1980, there have been over 100 peer-reviewed studies involving this technique of mindfulness-based stress reduction. And the results have been, there are a lot of benefits. For a lot of people, it's a feeling of well-being. For a lot of people, most people actually, it's being able to quiet down those voices that come into our heads and often dictate how we feel or even sometimes what we do. And stress itself is reduced, meaning that stress-related diseases are also reduced by people who practice mindfulness. Things such as heart disease, some gastrointestinal problems, things that are often triggered by stress. In addition, it's been found by some tests to really be helpful in behavioral addictions, in particular some studies about eating disorders among adolescent girls. It's also been helpful in things like dealing with cessation of smoking, some work with alcohol and drug abuse as well. But a lot of people assume that mindfulness and meditation are the same thing, and it's not actually true. Although everyone who practices mindfulness that I know, all of the disciplines, meditation is a very important part of mindfulness practice. But the idea is essentially to be able to quiet your mind, to focus on the present moment, and do it looking at your thoughts and your feelings and your physical sensations, but not putting a value to it, which is often obviously easier said than done. For people that are particularly interested in mindfulness, there's a particular book that I think is not only extremely helpful and well written, it's also very entertaining. And that book is 10% Happier. And its author is Dan Harris. It's been a bestseller for a long time. I think it was written maybe 4 or 5 years ago. Dan Harris is an executive at ABC News. He actually graduated from Colby and got his start in broadcast news, first in Bangor and then in Portland before going to New York. And he writes about his journey in finding that mindfulness was extremely helpful to him. And it was occasioned by a panic attack he had on live television at a time in his life when he wasn't really taking care of himself. And it's done with a journalist's eye, but a great deal of humor as well. And it's probably the best book, I think, to explain mindfulness to people who are interested in it. So I would very much recommend that for anybody who's interested. There's also a website called 10% Happier. For those people who are interested in meditation, an excellent website is Insight Timer, which is free. It's a free app, and it gives all sorts of guided meditations, and divided in terms of time and subject matter, what sound, whether you're listening to somebody speaking or whether you're listening to nature sounds or music. But there are literally thousands of mindfulness meditations that are on that app. So those are the two things that I would recommend the most. We did a mindfulness course a number of years ago. MAP sponsored one. It was a 3-part mindfulness course. And we had hoped that we'd have maybe 12 people sign up. As it turns out, we had over 40, and it was very, very well received. And we're hoping to do that again in the not too distant future, and we'll certainly get word out when we do. But that's about it in 5 minutes of mindfulness.
Thad, you're muted.
Thank you. Sorry. Bill, thank you very much for your time. Mindfulness was and is a component of our wellness focus for 2020 for the MSBA. It was also one of the focuses I had on my bicycle journey last fall too. So I appreciate you bringing it to the forefront, and if you can continue on that program for 2020, that would be great. Angela, did you have some business side of things to share with us?
I do. So last Friday, we provided a civil service slide that was the information given to us by the Kennebec County Sheriff Office. And we have some updates to that slide. Let me see if I can get there. Harry McKinney had provided this information, so attribution goes to him. So updated this, we were missing 3 counties last week, and those 3 counties are listed in red, and they all have full service as far as we know. Then just, you can see here on the slide, upcoming guests we have for this week. And then Thad, you mentioned somebody else that was joining.
Yes, our governor, I know I just sort of sprung it on you. I had a conversation with her this morning. She could not join us as, essentially an urgent guest, in that I think she'll have some information to share with us about the new PMO SJC 5 that went into effect.
Who is this?
Megan Burbank.
Oh, okay.
Our governor.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, I didn't.
All right, I know I said it fast.
I don't have anything else.
All right, good. And so on the personal side of things, wanted to mention that my thankfulness journal entry was on reflective time. This weekend was a great weekend where I was actually able to wind down a little bit, do some wood cutting and stacking, and also enjoy some of the sunshine. And that time helped me address one of our 6 health criteria, tempo, and allowed me to essentially readjust, not have so much going on in my mind, like Bill mentioned as part of the mindfulness focus, to be in the present, and to just be able to reset the tempo. So I wanted to share that with you. Our time right now is 1 minute shy of our 15-minute segment. I noticed that Angela had put up for you some of the references that Bill gave us. Was there any question or something that you want to share with our listeners? And remember, you can also email either Angela or I, and we can get it on tomorrow. But note that tomorrow we have Mr. Austin, and Ms. Burbank is going to just come on for a very brief time to give us an update on that new order. And seeing no chat come in, hearing no questions, I guess we're good. Angela?
That I actually have a question.
Okay.
Angela, can you email us that slide with the service updates, or is that online somewhere?
Sorry, I wanted to unmute. Yes, actually, the slide, if you go to our COVID-19 resource page, all of the Bar Talk information is available on that. You can click on each day, and if there's the agenda is listed under each day, and also if there were chat notes, those are also listed there.
Great, thanks.
You're welcome.
Yeah, and thanks for that question, Jonathan. I actually think that slide is one of the most helpful that we've had in all our editions so far. I know that I've used it twice already. So thank you, everyone, and we'll see you tomorrow at 11 o'clock.
Thanks, Thad.